A warm welcome to this webinar using DROPS Metaverse for training. So some of you are joining via LinkedIn and others are joining via our YouTube channel, but most of you will likely be looking at this at a recording. So for the live event, I will only be able to answer your questions posted via the StreamYard broadcast link on the screen. But I'll do my best to answer all the questions asked via other broadcast platforms after the event. So please, just to help, post an introduction so I can kind of see that this is all work. I see we've got already a few there. Thanks so much for that. So my name is Joachim van der Meulen. I'm the secretary of the DROPS Asia chapter. I will be joined by a few other people later, but I will introduce them when it is their time to shine. So a quick intro for those of you who are new to DROPS. So in most industries that involve working at height, dropped objects rank in the top 3 causes of injuries and fatalities. DROPS, which is short for Dropped Object Prevention Scheme, is a global initiative that aims to prevent harm from dropped objects at home and the workplace. It's a work group with representation from over 200 operators, contractors, service companies, and industry bodies, all of which are committed to the goal of preventing dropped objects. I represent the DROPS Asia chapter steering committee, which consists of Petronas, Shell, Bore Drilling, Vantage Drilling, Felesto, and Baker Hughes. So what's the metaverse? So the metaverse is this virtual space that combines multiple virtual worlds, augmented reality, and the internet in a 3D environment. It allows users to interact with each other and with the virtual objects and environments in a seamless and immersive way. The metaverse represents the evolution of the internet in 3D, and it provides a greater level of an immersion and interaction than traditional 2D internet environments. So it blurs the boundaries between the physical and the digital worlds, allowing users to experience a virtual space as if they're really there. So how are drops and the metaverse related? Okay, so drops have created a wealth of knowledge in various publications we call recommended practices. You may be familiar with documents like the DROPS calculator, reliably securing, red zone management, and tools at height, to name a few. You can see them here at the screen, and they're free to download at dropsonline.org. So what we do in the DROPS Metaverse is we convert these guidelines into experiential learning in the DROPS Metaverse. So reliably securing becomes a hazard hunt where people will have to identify primary methods of securing, secondary retention, and then safety securing, which you can see on the picture here on the screen. Backloading becomes a cargo inspection where participants will actually have to go on their hands and knees to check out forklift pockets for potential debris. So we used to organize a lot of meetings in the region to share best practices, but in the future we intend to hold these online, and we've been using webinars for that, but in the future we also intend to use our conference applications inside, so that makes it more accessible for people, and also more environmentally friendly. We don't have to all jump on a plane. So we also convert these typical safety alerts into experiences which the student is the center of. So how can we access this? So the metaverse or 3D environments are best experienced using virtual reality headsets. So a virtual reality headset is a device that is worn on the head and covers the eyes, allowing the user to experience and interact with a computer-generated environment as if it were real. The headset typically includes a display screen for each eye, which provides a stereoscopic 3D effect, as well as sensors that track the user's head movement and adjust the display accordingly. So VR headsets also include headphones or speakers for an immersive audio experience. So the VR headset connects to a computer or an integrated processor, which generates the virtual environment and sends this to the headset for display. So the users can interact with the virtual environment using controllers or by moving their head. So you can see the controllers and you can use your head. So overall, a VR headset allows the user to experience and interact with the virtual environment as if they were really there, providing an immersive and interactive experience. So we have developed the DROPS Metaverse to work with the Meta Quest 1, 2, and the Pro, which you can purchase for $399. Not from me, but from Meta directly. So this is a standalone device, which you don't need any external computers. But for the purposes of this webinar, I will provide a tour of the DROPS Metaverse using the Windows and Mac companion apps, which allows you to enter the environment without the headset. So let's have a look at that. Second, all right. So here we've got the application. So normally you need a headset, or you need a login to enter. Mine is already populated. So just hit the continue button and we're connecting to the server. It first requires you to set up some audio settings. So we'll say, yes, we can hear the music. We have need to set up the speaker. Right, so in this case, we'll say, okay, we'll have the headset microphone, right, and it's connected. Right, so we can adjust our avatar here a little bit. So let's say, I want to look a little bit more manly, or like this, or like this, or maybe I want to change my shirt a little bit, or something like this. You can change even any color that you like, right? So there's just some customizations that you could do to just make it unique. Right, then we're entering the DROPS Metaverse. So normally you would see a tutorial here, but for the prudence of this meeting, I will skip that. So we're entering this 3D exhibition, which you can walk around, and we might see some people there. Look, there's Gary. He's standing at one of the tables, so we're just going to join him there, and so he can talk to us. Hi, Gary. Can you hear us? Okay, maybe not yet. Not yet. We'll circle back to Gary in a while. Okay. Oh, great. Yes, I can hear you now. Yes. Go ahead, Gary. Okay. Thanks so much, Gary. What I just I got a message that his audio is not broadcasting, and that's more a feature of the webinar software than his. I could hear Gary just fine, but what he was saying is that we've been working with StopDrop for a while on the Tools at Height scenario, and they were actually one of the first supporters of this project. So there we can see someone else is joining us. Great, welcome. Yeah, sorry. Again, we can't hear Gary, but hopefully you get to meet him inside the app later. So what we're talking about training today. So we'll open up first one of the cargo inspections. Right. So we've created this this cargo inspection scenario, and you see quite realistic containers here, and that's thanks to companies like Hoover Ferguson, who supplied all the 3D models of their containers, and then we had Crosby supplying the 3D models of the shackles. So we try to create a very realistic kind of environment. So what the idea is here, that you kind of do various inspections. You can check the forklift pockets. You can see whether the containers are properly closed, and things like that. And then finally, at the end, we have a scenario which I will activate in a second, right? And we can see we have a container coming in. And which needs to be inspected. So I think I see Kanju logged in, and so if you can hear me, I'd like to invite you once that that container has landed to open it up. And if not, yeah, there you go. Right. So we got Raiwant here, who is with the PDEU student chapter. And yeah, go ahead and open up the container. Yeah, go ahead and open it up, Raiwant. Oh, right. So what we can see is that this is based on an actual scenario that happened. Fortunately, in reality, nobody got hurt because they were standing at the right location. But obviously, in different circumstances, something bad might have happened, right? So that's, for Raiwant, who is actually wearing a VR headset, he was really standing in front of that container, and it really feels as if that drill bit dropped on him. So that's kind of the immersive aspect of it. All right, so now we're going to go to a different scenario. Let me just open it up. So we're going to go to a hazard hunt. This is a DROPS inspection, which we have developed in collaboration with Access Group. Obviously, they have a lot of experience doing DROPS inspections, so kind of helped us develop findings in here. So I'm just going to move up to the Derrick. Right. I need to navigate my way down. Oops. And this is a little bit easier in VR, but there we go. So I can use my keyboard. I can also use my mouse to kind of move. So we're going to climb the Derrick here. Right. So let's see what we've got here. So we've got various lights installed, and then it's the job of the student to kind of go in detail, have a detailed look to look at all how it is properly secured. So we can see there's a little bit of rust there, so we kind of missed that. All right, let's see. Oh, there's Ricardo. Ricardo, the audience can't hear you through this, so we're going to bring you up through the StreamYard app in a while. But normally, for the benefit of the audience, I could meet with him. Ricardo is actually quite close to me in Singapore, just actually a few hundred meters almost from my home, but he could be on the other side of the world, connected via the headset, and he could explain the various concepts. right? So these are two of the main scenarios we have in the application. We have one that is on human factors, which is a 360 scenario. Doesn't really show well in on the Windows computer, so you really have to experience that using VR. And then we're working on a few other scenarios. So I'll go back to the presentation. Right, there we go. Right. Okay, 1 second. So how can we use this for training? So first of all, I'd like to clarify that the DROPS Metaverse itself is not a training, but you should see it as a training aid. So in the future, yes, it may contain some modules of self-paced training, but for now, it is an instructor-led learning aid, and you can use it depending on your organization needs. So you might use it as a classroom hands-on experience, like we did with Shell Malaysia. So we let the participants explore the environment and then let them tell what they find, and then through group discussions we kind of introduce the various drops concepts. But you could also deliver this remotely by just giving these headsets to your staff, and then remotely delivering the training. You could just use a small part of it, maybe for a safety meeting, or you could use it to coach a specific employee on a certain topic. So it's we just now saw Gary. You could invite him, if you want to have something specifically around tools at height, then he could come in and show you something about that. So it's not a one size fits all approach. And obviously operators, drilling contractors, service companies, they all have their different needs. So one application. So I'm going to invite Ricardo Ferrer with the Access Group to join me. So they've helped us develop this for inspections, and I'm just going to invite Ricardo to share how they intend to use this for their organization. Welcome, Ricardo.
Hi, hello everyone. So yeah, my name is Ricardo. I'm responsible for Access Group here in Asia Pacific, and the goal with our development together with the Drops Asia's team is to use the metaverse to train both our employees, our Drops inspectors, but anyone that we are sending offshore to potentially find potential dropped objects, and in different levels. So we can have the basic training with the simpler findings. But if you go and explore the rigs, there are very tricky findings, very technical findings that we can actually train the advanced inspectors that will go and perform drops inspection. And the main benefit of that it's following the best practice, the best guideline in the industry, which is the drops, the best practice booklet. So that can allow all of our global inspectors to do that into the same standard. So, and the second part is together with for our clients doing external trainings, complementing the theoretical training with the drops online best practices, and then having this semi-practical case for our clients, for the rig crew, for the HSE experts to do various levels of training. So that's been very nice, and that's bringing to the 21st century, and the pandemic accelerated that.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Ricardo, for joining us for this. So so we learned how we can access the DROPS Metaverse and how we can use it in various ways. So we currently have some content around cargo inspections, reliably securing, and then human factors. So let me just change the screen again. And 1 second. There we go. Yeah. So let me just have a look at the roadmap, right? So it's an ever evolving project, and there's tons of things that we want to do. I just try to categorize it in technology, content, and kind of the adoption. So obviously, we currently support the Meta Quest. We would like to support additional hardware like the Apple. So Apple is supposed to come out with a device this year, and then we think that that's going to be a pretty cool hardware. So we'll be keen to get it working on that. But there's also Pico, HTC, Lenovo, really good computer based VR, which is high quality. So that we would like to support as well. Web-based browser, so you can just have a peek without installing the application on your computer. Some private access support, so you can enter the environment without being bothered by other people who are there. We'd like to improve the avatar, so it's nice we can make some changes just now, but we'd like to have it a little bit more realistic. So there's a lot of technical background things that we need to still further improve, and there's a lot of questions around the ability to be able to deliver this offshore without a reliable internet connection. So that's something we're researching. Now, on the content front, we need to develop a good scenario around red zone management, tools at height, explain the drops calculator. We want to further expand the hazard hunt, which Ricardo showed. And then so at some point, we're going to have at least a base kind of curriculum covering the most common topics, and then we'd like to come out with regular experiential learning from incidents, like the one we saw Raiwand just showing us. So we want to improve the work environment. So we'll be looking at more vendors who are willing to share 3D models of their products in high detail. So we kind of add realism to things. So then, in terms of adoption, we're going to have more demonstrations like this. We're going to have hands-on workshops. We have scheduled to have a presentation at one of the IADC conference. To kind of help the delivery, we're writing instructor manuals, so I can just pass this to any trainer to kind of deliver the training. Want to have more tutorials, looking at additional delivery partners who kind of can help deliver this in different regions. For example, we've got lots of people always interested in Brazil, but obviously, I don't speak the language, and the time difference doesn't help. So kind of definitely would want kind of locally people to help there. So obviously we need funding for this project. It is all free, but and the way we've kind of done this is that all the partners who have previously funded part of the development have said, okay, everything has got to be free to access, and that requirement will also be in the future. So if you come in and you kind of help us fund and with the development, and then that content becomes available for everyone. So at some moment of time, you kind of get a critical mass of good content that we can use. All right, so we got a few events coming up, which you can register for at DROPS Metaverse. So if you came in here being excited about virtual reality or VR and are new to Drops, the event on the 8th is really good. It's a basic introduction to all the best practice. We call it struck by fallen objects instead of dropped objects, because that's the term that is used in Singapore, and unfortunately there have been a lot of fatalities here last year. So that's why we kind of want to focus on this market. We have William Lai, who used to be with Baker Hughes, and he recently joined construction. So just kind of give an overview of what is available. Then hands-on, Ricardo is hosting me at his office, whereby we invite people to come over and experience it. So we'll bring lots of the VR headsets with us, so everyone can kind of give it a try to do the inspections themselves and see what they find. So yeah, if you're interested, have a look, contact me or contact Ricardo if you want to join that. That is only in Singapore. And if even if you are in Singapore and you want to invite me over, I'm very keen to do that, because we actually haven't had a lot of practice delivering this yet. So I love the opportunity to meet with the HSC team and show this to them and get the feedback so we can further improve. If you're keen to buy a VR headset, the first VR only training will be held on the 15th of February, and you really need to have the headset to enter that. So here's some of the devices that you can use. I recommend the Meta Quest 2. Like I said, it's $399. It's actually heavily subsidized by Meta, or you could get the Meta Quest Pro, but it's almost, it's more than 3 times as much. It's really nice, but yeah, it's perhaps a bit of an overkill. But yeah, if you need that kind of device to enter the environment. So yeah, with that, we kind of come to the end of the demonstration, and I would very much welcome your questions. And I can't. So I need to. I need to read through your questions first, but in the meantime, keep them coming, and then yeah. Let me just read through. Okay, so let's see here. We've got Zakaria. So in VR train, we'll all be putting the company logo on the head of the students delegate. Not necessarily. That's currently the case. We definitely intend to do it for the exhibition, where the purpose is a bit of networking. May not be necessary in the training. That's how it works right now, but it may not be in the future. I'd love to get your feedback if you like it, or if you don't. We'll adjust accordingly. All right. So we got a question. A combined HD pictures of the scenario of the suspect can help identify the hazard and the 1 and 2 prevention measures. Meanwhile, more realistic graphic could be used. Yeah, absolutely, Ahmad. Yeah. So we. On the one hand, we want to improve the graphics of the application itself. There's a lot of technical jargon around that, how that works, but yeah, it can be improved, and also over time the technology is improving. But the other part is what we do, the way we envision the training is we have a look at do the inspection in VR. And then we might link it to a real life event. So we say, okay, hey, we've got this split pin missing, and then let's see if we can bring up a similar event. So we might pull up a PDF where such an incident happened. So we see high quality pictures of that. And then we might link it to a best practice of document, or your own internal procedures. So you would have procedures on how to inspect cargo, what exactly needs to be done, how it needs to be tagged, and while most companies follow the DROPS recommended practices, it might be slightly different for different companies. So you kind of adjust it from there. So let's see if we've got any other questions. Right, so we got lots of people introducing themselves. Welcome, everyone. But no questions yet. So I would love to see more questions coming through from the audience. And Yasir asked the question, is he dead? And I'm quite sure he's referring to Raiwant being hit by that dropped object. Yeah, so luckily it's kind of a game. So it's kind of, yes, game over, but you can start again, right? So, but in real life, unfortunately, that would not be the case, right? Okay, what else have we got? Right, good. Yeah, thanks. A lot of people from Schlumberger joining. I saw today. So yeah, so some other questions that we often get, so do we really need to have VR headsets? I to me, it's like, listening to a TV program. Yes, you can understand what's going on and actually listen to the story and stuff. But it definitely adds another dimension looking at the picture. And the same thing is VR. I mean, it's so immersive, and being there is really different from looking at it on a screen. Yeah, I would highly recommend that. And yeah, I mean, the headsets, I think it's, for an individual purchase, it might be a lot, but for a lot of companies, I think that is manageable. Yeah. Any more questions coming in from the audience? All right. So one of the questions I had this morning was, can we use this offshore on a rig? And and I also really like that idea. Is not to run a full-fledged training, but maybe just take a few employees apart for half an hour and just coach them on a specific topic, and that might be nicely done in between in a break or something at work. So offshore, obviously, we need to have a good internet connection. I'd imagine that in the coming years, you might be all connected to this Skynet from Elon Musk. What's his name? Starlink, not Skynet. Starlink. Sorry, wrong name. Yeah. So that's one thing. The other thing is, um, it may on floating vessels, it may present an issue because having that movement causes issues with the gyroscopes inside the head. Okay, so I have got another question from Gary Dunn. Joachim, had you had any further engagement from operators who can support training program and help drive this with their service partners and contractors? Okay, so we have been developing this, and of course we have talked about it in previous webinars, but we've mostly been developing this slowly with our partners in Malaysia, and now that we have developed the first proper content, now we kind of promote it to other operators, and yeah, so there's some interest, but it's not, we're not delivering it yet because we've only just delivered the very first training in November. Okay, so Kyrul asks, so it's free. The users can access all the functions of the app. Yes, you can enter the application, go to all the environments, and try it out. But some of the things, some of the administrative functions. So if you wanted to have, for example, a private room where you can kind of have an in-company training, we would charge for that. And also, if companies do want to use it as a kind of a commercial training, just a paid training for their customers, then we ask for contribution. All right. So we have one more. We have Mohammed Bakhtar joining us. Yeah. So so in the meantime, if you've seen the link on the website, there is the DROPS Metaverse apps. You can actually open that link and download the application on your Windows computer. Depending on where you open this, you might find that it's blocked. It runs on the same kind of technology that computer games run on, and rightly so. A lot of companies don't allow people to play computer games on their at work, and unfortunately, we can't distinguish between this and that, because it runs all on the same kind of technology and servers. So if that happens, you might need to connect via a guest network, or maybe your mobile phone, or at home. Okay, so then we got a question from Ali, a VR application in oil and energy industry. I'm not sure, how it's a question, but if it's a question, but yeah, so we currently focus very much on oil and gas, and that's where we kind of find, yeah, most companies are willing to kind of really invest to improve safety. And that's we can say a lot of things about our industry, but I think when it comes to personal safety, I think we're doing a really good job, and continuously want to innovate. And of course, I know there's going to be lots of people on this call. Oh no, he's totally wrong. We see so many bad things. Absolutely right. You'll find that in other industries it can be much worse. Yeah, that's why it's oil and gas very much focused. Yeah, so if there are no further questions, we will end this broadcast shortly. I will be opening up my DROPS Metaverse and join there. So if you, in the meantime, you install the application, I'd love to have a chat with you in there, and hear what you think. If you're looking at this as a recording, I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and yeah, let me know if this is something for you, and if we can support you with that. Okay, thank you all very much, Ricardo, Gary, and Raiwan. Thanks for supporting me in this presentation, and yeah, we'll see you all soon, hopefully in the DROPS Metaverse. Have a good day.